What is going on, everyone? My name is Kodamore and welcome back to Electronics episode 20. Today we will be learning about a very important electronics component, the diode. Diodes will allow us to properly utilize many other electronics components and can help us when using capacitors in a simple circuit that we're going to build a little bit later on in this video. Now, we have heard of a diode before. LED stands for a light-emitting diode, so in fact an LED is a type of diode. Now a diode essentially only allows current to flow in one specific direction, which is why we must connect an LED, or any type of diode for that matter, in a circuit the proper way around. So diodes have an anode and a cathode that must be connected in the proper order and position within a circuit. Now, for the remainder of this tutorial series, and for nearly all electronics work that you're going to find on the internet or just in general life, conventional current flow will be used. This is used to help reduce confusion. Conventional current flow is basically just think of all things electronics going from positive to negative, or from the anode to a cathode. So electricity, think of electricity traveling from positive to negative whenever we are discussing any type of electronics or electricity flow or current flow. Conventional current, like I said, is used to reduce confusion, which is especially important when we're talking about diodes. So just think of current and electricity flowing from positive to negative. Alright, now the schematic symbol for a diode is actually just a simpler version of the schematic symbol for an LED. It's this triangle with a line on it, and that's the schematic symbol for a regular diode. Now there are other types of diodes, but for this video we are just going to focus on a regular kind of standard normal diode. Now the anode is sort of at the base of this triangle here, that's the anode, and where this line is drawn right here, that is the cathode, and I'm just going to circle those there. Now a diode allows current to flow from the anode to the cathode, so it allows current to flow in that direction there. However, if current begins to try to flow in the opposite direction from the cathode to the anode, then the diode is going to do its best work, and it's going to try its hardest to stop this current from flowing any further past the diode. So essentially, whenever current tries to flow the opposite way in a diode, the diode kind of makes the circuit like an open switch would. Like there's almost no connection there. At least that's what an ideal diode would do. Except it should allow current to flow regularly from the anode to the cathode. So let's take a look at a very basic schematic involving a diode. And we are actually going to start with something very familiar, sort of our regular LED basic circuit here. So we're going to take the positive side of the battery there, and we're going to wire it up beginning at a resistor, and then this resistor is going to go ahead and connect to an LED, a light emitting diode, which sort of has the two arrows coming off of it. So we have our LED there, and I'm not really going to focus on this type of diode, I'm going to focus on a regular diode, so that might get a bit confusing, but we have the LED there, and then we are also going to have a diode pointing right after the LED connecting up to the negative side of the battery. So since the diode is placed sort of in this configuration, current should flow right from the positive terminal of the battery through the LED lighting it up, and it'll be able to pass right through the diode to the other end of the battery because, again, the diode allows current to flow in this direction towards the line of the diode schematic symbol. So this circuit should work just as it would regularly even without this extra diode here. Whenever a diode allows current to flow through it in the proper direction, this is something called forward, and let me write it here, forward bias. That means the diode is in forward bias operating mode. It's allowing current to flow through. Okay, so let's try something else. Let's go ahead and remove this extra diode right there, okay? And instead, let's place that diode the opposite way around. And I drew this kind of weird. So there we now have our diode placed in the other direction. So what's going to happen here? Well, current is going to begin to try to flow through the resistor, through the LED, and then it's going to get to this diode here. And this diode is going to stop the current from flowing, and it's going to act sort of like a switch was open, and the LED isn't going to light up, and our circuit is essentially not going to work because the diode does not allow current to flow through in this opposite direction here because we placed it the other way around. Now whenever a diode is preventing current from flow, this is called reverse bias there. That is when the diode is in reverse bias operating mode. It won't allow current to flow through. Now in a perfect world a diode would work just like